Shalom, giving all praises to the Most High Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Yahweh, the name of the Heavenly Father, who the world calls God, and Yahweh Shai, the name of the beloved Son, who the world calls Jesus Christ. Coming to you in the form of a short clip, a short movie, going into the two fraternal brothers, Jacob and Esau. Because the whole Bible, which when you read it with the understanding, you will understand that this Bible, this book that all nations try to pick up and read, but they don't have a damn clue what it's talking about. It goes into the story of two nations, the nation of Jacob and the nation of Esau. Now the first chapter that I want to get is Genesis chapter 25 and verse 20. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Padan-aram, the sister to Laban the Syrian. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren, and the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. So Isaac, the son of Abraham, he had two children, with his wife Rebekah. It goes on to say, and the children struggled together within her. She said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. So these two children in the womb were struggling. And that struggle goes back to Genesis, when the serpent, which we all know, if you have the eyes to see, was the so-called white man, the spirit of Cain, that deceived the woman, which was called Eve, in the garden. Let me get that real quick. Genesis chapter 3 and verse 13. And the Lord Yahweh said unto the woman, what is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. And the Lord Yahweh said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And this is the point right here. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Now keep that in remembrance, because the serpent, the seed of the serpent, is still back here on the earth to this very day. And the seed of the woman, which that Roman represents in Israel, are back here on the earth today, undergoing punishment from the Most High. Back in Genesis chapter 25 and verse 22. And the children struggled together within her, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. So those two children are the two spirits, the spirit of the serpent and the spirit of the promise, the seed that was given the promise and the covenant. It goes to say, and the Lord said unto her, two nations are in thy womb, and two manners of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other, and the elder shall serve the younger. So two nations are in thy womb. So that means that these two people that will come out of the womb of Rebekah will have two completely different characteristics, two different ideals, two different ways of life. And we can see that because when you look at the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, we have special gifts that was endowed upon us by the Most High. When you look at the so-called white man, which when we keep going in that chapter is going to talk about, the white man is not seasoned with salt. Esau, Edom, does not have the gift, the traits that makes him special. That's why they have to go to every nation. That's why they have to steal everything from all these different nations. Because they don't have anything that they can call their own. You see? So it's describing two characteristics of two different nations. It goes to say, and when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb, and the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she buried him. So the first came out red, and they called his name Esau. So painting the picture to get the perfect view, we all know that man that was called Esau is the so-called white man, which when you go into that word white, it means pure. So Esau has put this covering cast upon himself so that the world will not identify him to be who he is. And Jacob, which his name will later be changed to Israel, was the father of the 12 patriarchs. Out of Jacob will come the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. You see? It goes to say, let me jump down to the point. This is verse 29. And Jacob saw it pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. Because when you understand the scriptures, every soul that comes out of the womb of a woman, that enters the matrix, they're the firstborn. Okay? And they're given the blessing. But Jacob was a supplanter. When you go into the Hebrew word of Jacob, which is, I believe, Yaquab, it means supplanter. So that's one of the characteristics of Jacob. He was able to supplant Esau to get his birthright. And Jacob said, swear to me this day, and he swore unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. Right. Because the so-called white man, he's carnal. He was not given the spirit of uprightness. You see? That's why the Most High rejected Esau, the so-called white man. And he didn't give him any liability, any room, any mercy to pray and to ask for mercy. Okay? And that's where this anger comes from. This anger that goes on to this day. That's why the so-called white man known as Esau Edom took the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans into slavery. Okay? Where he massacred millions of our people. That's where that anger comes from. You see? But we're coming in these days where the truth is being put out there by the hands of the Most High, which are the prophets. You see? The Hebrew Israelites, these men that you see standing on the streets, they're not no ordinary men. Those are the men that were ordained by Yahweh Shin Yahushai to preach this gospel, to bring in the elect. Okay? Scripture said, my sheep hear my voice and they follow me. So out of our nation, even though our nation is the nation that was given to the Most High, that the Most High chose, pursuant to Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 6, for thou art a holy people unto me. On this side, only the elect will be saved. You see, that's why the prophets are out there in the highways and byways, prophesying the downfall of America, bringing back the elect through the Holy Spirit by the preaching of this word. And at the same time, letting these devils know, Esau Edom, the so-called white man, that his kingdom is about to fall. As you can see, when we were reading in Genesis, the 25th chapter, it said Jacob held first the heel of Esau. So what did that symbolize? It symbolized the downfall of Esau Edom. You see? So we're now living in a time where Jacob is coming up and Esau, the so-called white man, is going down. Okay? And pretty soon, these two spirits are going to clash, which is known as race wars, which race wars are prophesied in the Bible in these last days. Race riots, race wars, martial law. These things are prophesied because these two spirits were always meant to have enmity against one another. You see? They were never meant to come they were never meant to come together as one. Okay? That's why Christianity never works out. That's why all these different religions never work out. Because what they're trying to do is they're trying to bring the spirits of Jacob with the spirit of Esau with these other nations. You see, the Most High has separated the nation of Israel from these other nations. We are a special nation unto the Most High. Okay? This is 2 Ezra chapter 6 and verse 7. Then answered I and said, what should be the parting asunder of the times, or when should be the end of the first, and the beginning of it that followeth? So the prophet Ezra was asking the Most High, what was going to be the end of this world, which all the prophets of old, the men, the disciples of Yahweh Shin Yahshai always inquired. Well, we're living in the times of the end of the days. The Most High has given us signs, the upwards of the people, the rumors of wars, earthquakes in diverse places. These are all signs letting us know that the so-called white man, his kingdom, his infrastructure that he has built upon lies, deceit, and murder and blood is about to be taken down. And the righteous rulers are about to be established. Okay? It says, he said unto me from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. The hand of the man is betwixt the heel and the other. Slakia. It says the hand of man is betwixt the heel and the hand. You see? So Esau is the end of the world. Which, when you go into that word, it means eon. Okay? It means eons. It means a certain time of rulership, which this devil was given a certain time to rule. But now the Hebrew Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, our people are waking up on a massive scale, signifying that these other nations are going down. All right. See, this mass awakening signifies that Esau is about to be taken down out of power, and all these curses that were brought upon us, they're slowly being taken away. You see, the Most High is healing the elect of our nation through the preaching of this word. See, that's why it's very important to go out there and preach this gospel. This is Lamentations chapter 4 verse 21. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken, and thou shalt make thyself naked. Verse 22. The punishment of thy iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. So we're no longer going to have to stay upon the man that smote us. Okay? That smote us with a continual rage pursuant to Isaiah chapter 14. You see, the Lord is coming back to beam up the elect and to ultimately destroy those that destroyed his people, which is the so-called white people along with these other nations. Okay? It says, he will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thy iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. Right? Because the scriptures say that the Edomites, their sins have reached unto heaven. You know, from all the wickedness that they have perpetrated upon the face of this earth. All right, to the destruction of the Lord's people. Okay, but the Lord is healing us. This is the last captivity that we're gonna have to go through, and in the kingdom, we're gonna have all these nations in slavery, man. See, that's the trust and that's the faith that we have. You see what I mean? Let me get one more precept and I'll close out. Get Revelations chapter. Let's see if this is the right chapter. Okay, let me get Revelations real quick. Let me see if I can find it. Right? Because we understand that in the kingdom to come, that we're going to be the next rulers. We're going to be the next slave masters. And the slave masters are going to be the slaves. This is Revelation 13 and 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity, and he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So this is what we're fighting for salvation and to have power over the nations, you know. So this is what we're fighting for, man. That's why we push this truth to glorify the name of Yahweh Shin Yahshai. All right, with that I say shalom.